6:30 right now, so we're going to start the meeting. Our regular meeting of Westwood City Council tonight is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. and we are in the City Council chambers. The anchor location right here is 3600 Constitution Boulevard, West Valley City, Utah 84119. Roll call, we have council members. We are here present, except Don Christensen is on Zoom right now electronically. Oh, that right. And Mayor's she excused herself. She excused herself tonight. Yeah, thank you, Scott. Opening ceremony, we have a council member Scott Harmon. I'll turn over to him.
Thank you. If you'll join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Here, approval of minutes. We have here it's August 16, 2022. So we need a motion and a second for that minute.
Move to approve those minutes. Second.
So we have a motion is Jake and a second is Scott. All those are in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. So none. This vote was unanimous. Thank you. Next one is common periods, and this one is you have 5 minutes for each, and you go to the podium right here. You can in front of you. You see the monitor, and you can watch and you can see when you talk to us. This public comments are not designed to debate or to have a question or answer straightforward to the mayor, but she's not here tonight, so speakers shall not expect any debate. Like I said earlier, just go straight to Mayor Pro Tem, that's me tonight. And we have 5 speakers tonight, and I can read your handwriting, is no problem. But I would love you to come up to podium and state your full name so we can have that in our record. Mhm. And the address. The first one is the Paul Nickel. Oh, by the way, before you come to podium, we have one public hearing tonight. And that the ordinance is 22-32. And if you have something to say for that ordinance, so please keep that one, hold that until the public hearing. You can come up and talk for your share or your concern or your comments about that's the ordinance 22-32. Thank you. Go ahead, Paul.
Me or the
Paul.
Yeah, Paul Nico.
Paul Nico? Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah.
My name is Paul C. Nichols. I live at 5329 West, 4100 South. And I'd like to know what we're going to do about this traffic on 4100. It's 6 o'clock in the morning till about 8, and then 8 till 10. And it's going both directions, is full bore. And if I had to get out of my driveway, couldn't make it. So I wonder could you do anything to help us out with that?
Yeah, you will have someone you can talk. Like I said earlier, this one is not designed to debate or question and answer. So
Yeah, because it's school's out now, and 5400, that stop sign is just a joke, because they never stop for that. They're supposed to, one time they talked about putting a red light up there. That's what, 2 or 3 months ago. Still ain't got nothing up there. Okay, thank you.
thank you. Second one is Mark Whitaker.
Whitaker.
Oh, thank you.
Whitaker. Hi, my name's Mark D. Whitaker. I'm a write-in candidate for district number 33 here in the state of Utah. And today I came to talk about the difference between asphalt roads and cement roads. And I definitely feel that cement roads would be better. Now, I'm not an inventor, but I know that somebody will invent some way to do asphalt, or rather cement rather than asphalt. The object would be to save money. And I note that the asphalt gets very hot. When it's 117 degrees, it'll be 200 degrees. That is the heat rate of asphalt over cement, which is about 120 degrees, quite a bit of difference. Secondly, the asphalt is putting oil in the water, about 3 parts per million. And that's making people sick. They're dying early. They're dying probably before 200 years, where they could live to be 200 years old. So that's the second reason. And the third reason that I think cement roads should be put down, really everywhere in the world, is that a car will stop on wet cement pavement 40 feet sooner. So I'd like to see us give this idea a try. I know that we're going to want to drill in Yellowstone or something, but I think that until we do, there's plenty of roads out there. The roads can be about 3 barrels of oil per every 50 foot by 50 foot by 3 foot asphalt road or parking lot. And there's a lot of roads and parking lots, and we don't need the roads that we do have. So that's my suggestion. And if it saves Utah or West Valley money, then we should do it. I'm sure somebody's going to invent something that'll improve the quality of the cement, make it cheaper and so on. And it's better than drilling. Drilling, I think, even though there are some expenses I know for cement roads, drilling it's I think altogether still cheaper than drilling. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim V. Shark.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Jim Visock. Once again, talking about code enforcement. 3865, 5600, right on the corner, right by Ascent Academy. I've reported this since September of last year. This is a repeat offender, a lot of parking, but the things that we've been reporting lately is the accumulation of solid waste, which is brush. They have a whole bunch of it in their driveway, the side of the house, weeds that are 6 feet tall. This is a very popular corner. I don't understand what's taking so long. I know the process for the hearings and stuff usually takes up to 6 months. And we were in moratorium until May. But like I said, this is a repeat offender, so it should go a little bit faster, should go a lot faster. Parking on the weekends. I understand we have Saturday, but our streets are just, it's crazy. The semis, the tow trucks, once again, driving around for the Clean and Beautiful Committee, I was shocked at how many semis that I saw, the tow truck, construction trailers, unattached campers parked on the street, all these things that aren't supposed to be on our streets. And I don't see tickets on them. I do call in a lot of them. But on Piggy Lane, and I called it in, and it'll be there. It's been 10 days now. There's a C300 Chrysler parked the wrong way that's been burned out. There's no licenses. There's nothing on it. We have a 72-hour rule parking on the street. The city should be able to have this thing hauled away. It is a major safety hazard. There was a tire in the side window that's now out in the street. I've called in on it twice now, asking why is it still there. Maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago, we talked about step fines and step up fines. It was supposed to be brought to the council in a study. So hopefully that's coming up soon on the tickets. If we hit them in the pocketbook, hopefully that'll fix it. And then the other day I was driving down 41 and there's a new way of racing. They put a spotter in the center lane. The 2 cars pull up and they literally stop, back the traffic up behind them. They get a long enough stretch and then they take off racing. I've never seen it before. And there were several of them that happened. It was kind of scary because these guys are flying down and then they hit the brakes and all the cars are stacked up behind them. So I know our racing guy hasn't been here in a long time, but I've never seen it set up that way. So that's something that hopefully our PD can, set off to the side and stop that. That's very, very, very dangerous for all of us normal drivers. And so that's all I have tonight. West Valley City Pride.
Thank you. Frank Soderberg.
Good evening. My name is Frank Soderberg. I live at 3497 San Marcos Circle. And I'm a relative newcomer to the political scene. And I became interested in getting involved when this my hometown neighborhood came about. And since then, I've been a block captain and had the opportunity to do several night outs
for my block on San Marcos, and we've had an excellent turnout. And I was amazed that our policemen showed up and our firefighters showed up. We had a mayor come out, or a mayor that was running for mayor, or a person that was running for mayor that isn't mayor now come out. We've had councilmen come out and visit. And my neighbors are impressed because we have a diverse neighborhood. We've got Cambodians, we've got Vietnamese, we've got Hispanic, we have Guatemalans, and we now have a recent move in from the Congo. So to get all these people together and explain what my hometown is about and what West Valley City is trying to do for them just has them stunned. Because many of them from different cultures aren't aware what West Valley City does. And it's my job to include them in that process. And we had Mr. Tom Hune come out. We had ours last Saturday, and he came out, and as a councilman, he listened to all my neighborhood, voice their complaints and their concerns. And as a block captain, he coordinated with me to get those resolved. And I was basically dumbfounded that he listened. He said he'd take care of it. And I went, yeah, okay. I'm former military. I'm in the hurry up and wait. So I was in the waiting mode. And he called me and said, this is done. You'll get an email. And lo and behold, the city came out, did the resolved one problem that next Monday morning. I had the police call and give me an explanation on how to resolve our parking problem and get that resolved. And he called and followed up with me again to make sure that I've been contacted. And to me, I was dumbfounded as a citizen, basically, because I've never had that service before. And I've lived in Utah all my life, except for in the military. And I'm downright impressed with the image that you people show people of other cultures. And I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be from West Valley and to know you guys. And I appreciate the heck out of it. And I know my neighbors want to express their gratitude for all you do and take the lead in helping us live better in West Valley City. And thank you so much for doing what you do.
Mike Markham.
I'm Mike Markham, 3008 Alice Way. My take is maybe a little bit different than Jim Visok's on parking. I don't know if you've been getting all of the pictures I've been sending in, but did you ever see the movie Shawshank? Do you remember how he got his library? Started out sending 1 letter a week, then 2 letters a week, 3 letters a week, and he finally got a library. I'd like to thank Wayne, Mr. Pyle. He's sent me a couple of notes on a parking issue I have. I've had parking out, citing vehicles that were all improperly parked. They've been vigilant on this problem I've had. There's also a code going on with Lane's group of people. Hopefully we'll get that remedied. I'm sure they got a note to mow their lawn, so they mowed half of it. Didn't mow the other half. But maybe they're trying. The problem we have with this property is the person that owns the house. It was 6 bedrooms. He added a 7th. He's rented out too many rooms to people with too many cars. So I don't know if there's anything we can do to landlords or whatever. It's a single family dwelling. And I know if you go say anything, well, this is my cousin Juan, this is my uncle Jose. So I don't know how we do that. I wish we could come up with a definition of a single family unit, but that's probably against the law. We wouldn't want to do that. But like I say, I want to thank Wayne for his response, and we've been getting the traffic people out, or not the traffic, but the parking enforcement people out. And I really believe the people that live there try to do it right. They just don't know. They're finding out. with the parking tickets that they're getting. But the root of the problem is we have a fellow that's rented his house out to too many people. I feel sorry for the one family that lives there. It's a mom and a dad and about 4 kids, but you never see the kids outside. I don't know if they're afraid to come out. And all the rest are single males. They went through, tore out all the bushes in the front of their house. They've just left them laying where they tore them out. They're not cleaning it up. So I hope code enforcement is that. They used to mow the lawn when I left them a nice note on one of their cars asking them to please mow the lawn. Let's all work together. So I don't know what it's going to take to clean up some of these issues. I still have the problem at the end of Alice Way and King Arthur, where there's a house there that loads the street with cars because they've got so many unlicensed cars backed into their driveway that never move. But I understand we can't go on their property and look at that. Now, to me, that's a crime that we can't go in. They're committing a crime. So the police can't go in if they're suspected of something going on at a house. Why can't they walk up and look at the back of these cars? Although they got them backed in really tight against a block wall. So you can't get in there. And maybe it's the difference between a code and a law. I don't know. But I'm going to be very vigilant with some of these issues. So you may keep getting a lot of pictures. You know, you're probably sitting there thinking that's inconceivable. Another movie. So just be prepared. I'm tired of sitting back and letting this group of people come into our neighborhoods. They want to come here for a better life, but they want to put ours in the gutter. So that's kind of how I feel about it. If these people want to come into a neighborhood, not take care of it, then they need to move into I'm not going to say where. There's communities around here that people just don't care. So they would fit in much better than they're going to fit into my neighborhood, because I'm going to be very, very vigilant in trying to take care of these issues. So hold on and enjoy the ride. I put a note in there in one of my pictures about who you wanted to support, citizens that vote or non-citizens that don't vote. Thanks.
Thank you. What's that noise, Nico? I mean, okay. Anyone else wants to come? Okay, go ahead. State your name and your full name and your address, please.
Miles Wynn, 2766 West, 2890 South, 84119. So again, that's what I was talking about last week. Anyway, it was refreshing to hear some inclusive mentions today. So thank you for that. But what I do want to say as well is thank you for acknowledging a lot of my concerns recently. I did get a really nice call from DPW recently about the speeding issues on my block and stuff. And the main problem I'm having is I can't get my signatures from my neighbors, essentially. They won't even open the door for me. They probably think I'm a solicitor or something along those lines. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I do want to get the speed study in my neighborhood to get this figured out. But one thing that was kind of interesting when I had the conversation with the DPW person was he had said that the threshold for speed bumps is 10 miles over. So you have to have like a 85th percentile going 35 miles an hour or more down the block. And I feel like that's a fairly large threshold to have people speeding in a residential neighborhood, and to acknowledge that that's what it takes to get speed bumps. I know I'm not expecting any response here and such, but how do I go about making or getting some of these policies changed? Because they had said it was a very outstanding long policy, the 10-mile-an-hour threshold. And I just feel like maybe that's something that needs to be looked at in the future. Again, I know you guys don't like the comparison between West Valley and Salt Lake, but Salt Lake has just lowered their residential speed limit to 20 from 25. Granted, they're probably going to spend a lot of money to replace, speed signs. I don't know if we have a ton of, speed limit signs in the residential neighborhoods to begin with that have to be replaced, but I just thought that was something that was worth mentioning. And then also, I would like to thank the police for acknowledging my concerns as well. They did put a radar on the block. Their placement wasn't amazing. I called them. They said they would move it to a little bit more of a reasonable place to actually catch maximum speed rather than people turning right off at 2,700. And so they were very nice about that. And I wish I had brought the officer's name or the lieutenant's name that spoke with me, but he was pretty much in full agreement about the threshold being too large and that I should continue to be vigilant about, coming here and speaking my mind about the speed and stuff. Obviously, it doesn't sound like it's just my neighborhood. It's, 4,100 or whatever the block that was mentioned with the street racing. I don't want to see people getting hurt, doing it on a major street, just as dangerous as doing it in a residential area. And I think in the residential area, probably even worse, because like I mentioned, I got kids. I don't have kids, thank goodness, but the kids in my neighborhood are playing in the street, riding their bicycles. I see every night when I walk my dog, there's, families walking around with their kids riding bikes and stuff. And it just, are we going to wait till something bad happens? Essentially, like, I don't want to see that happen. I'd like to see some, something done, especially with the, whatever it was, $100 million tax increase from the property tax, and stuff like that. So we should put some of that money to good use, slow some people down, and just kind of, I think what did Salt Lake call it? They said like Salt Lake Cares or something. I know they had a very nice slogan as far as caring about their residents and lowering that speed limit down in residential areas. And again, I'll just keep saying it. I think some speed bumps or some dips or something would help out a lot in the residential areas, not just mine, the whole valley, the whole valley, West Valley in particular. I really do like this city. I love living here. I love its diversity. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say tonight. But again, that's what I was talking about last week. So
thank you for coming out to sharing your comments with us and coming out tonight and sharing your comments with us tonight. I appreciate it very much. We have a couple items here, Paul Nico and also Mike Wink. I would love the Public Works, maybe Mike maybe can stay there a little bit longer so he can talk to Public Works, and Paul Nico maybe Public Works can give him a call or something and try to find out something about try to assist him. I appreciate it very much. Now I turn over to City Manager. Any comment?
Thanks, sir. What we'll mention, I don't really have any other comments. I will mention we already have spoken with the gentleman, as he mentioned to you, by DPW. That's what he meant, Department of Public Works.
Oh, okay, that's good.
We've worked with him already and kind of outlined for him what the standards of the program would be for considering putting the speed humps in, and might also note that you as a council asked to have a presentation on what that actually entails, because that hasn't come before the council for a while. So we'll schedule that up too.
Cool, I appreciate that. So you got one already, one down, and one more, Paul Nichols. Maybe someone can contact him and give him a call or something. Okay, appreciate that. City Council, any comments? If not, we're gonna move forward. And before we're gonna go to the next item, public hearing tonight, I just wanted to know, all of these items we study 1 week before we here tonight to present it to you guys. So basically we have time to think and to ponder about these items. So maybe you said, well, they moved very quick, but because they studied for 1 week before they came out here. The public hearing, ordinance 22-32, and I will turn over to City Manager.
Thank you, sir. So we had a staff initiated zoning ordinance text change proposal come before the council a little while ago. And there were a couple of specific reasons for this, as well as just some general cleanup to the code. I'll list for purposes of that introduction, specifically what those are. So they're requesting a zoning ordinance text change that would update the definition of a hospital, prohibit hospitals in the BRP, MXD, C3, LI, and M zones. And unfortunately, I don't remember what all the acronyms of those stand for. I'm usually pretty good on the commercial and the residential ones. So if you would like to have Steve come up, or if there are other questions, we'll do that again. But specifically what they do is, or what the amendment would do is update the definition of a hospital as mentioned, prohibit hospitals in those zones that I mentioned, prohibit community uses in the deck or lake station overlay zone, require windows and doors on homes within the RS zone to be Energy Star related, and 5, update the list of uses allowed as home occupation. So as you can see, it was kind of a wide-ranging list of items. Some of those were specifically requested by the council. Others were just brought up since we were looking at those anyway. And Mayor, with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, City Manager. Appreciate that. I will turn over to the council for discussion or motion. Any question you can ask Steve Patrick to present it to you before you make a, go up and down. But if not, we can go ahead.
Mayor Pro Tem, we do have to open and close a public hearing.
Yeah, we still, thank you for Nico. We're gonna have that for the citizen here tonight first, and then we could turn over to the city, to the council. So we're gonna open the public hearing right now. So anyone wants to come up here and then speak for this public hearing ordinance 22-32, please come over to podium. Okay, I will close this public hearing since no one here. So, oh, by the way, is anyone on Zoom? No. Okay, good. We'll turn over to the city council. Close that public hearing and turn over to the city council.
I have a question. We brought this up in the study meeting. I was under the impression that we were amending this amendment to include allowing sales in a home business where they provide a service and want to sell a product that goes along with that service. But I'm not seeing that in the ordinance. If that is in here, could someone tell me where to find it? What page is that on in this document?
I'm scrolling down, looking as well.
Number 339 on page 39. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, why don't you come up to the podium and point it
Yeah,
out just
yeah, please.
specifically?
39.
Yes, that is correct. It's on page 39 and it's item 3 there on page 39.
And so I'm not seeing a change in there.
Right. So that was something I failed to mention. There is a provision in there that would allow some limited retail sales. So we did make one change further on page 40 that just reinforces that. But under item 3, that would address the issue that you brought up before.
So the way I'm reading item 3, it doesn't allow any sales, but which item? Letter A says it's prohibited from shelves.
3 says sales can be conducted.
Right.
And then it says as long
In
as it
accordance
follows-
with the following requirements and.
Right. So they just wouldn't have like shelving, but they can still sell some limited items there under number 3.
I see. But they
Does it
couldn't
take
put
care
it on a shelf
Right.
in their
display.
display, in their business. Okay.
Any other question for Steve Patrick?
Does that, are you okay with that, Lars?
As long as that's communicated to business owners that, hey, if you have a hair salon and you want to sell some shampoo, you certainly can do that.
Correct.
It sounds like it wouldn't prohibit like a list of products you could show them or a poster on the wall or something like that, right? As
Right.
long as it's just not on shelves.
In the
marketed.
display, okay. I think I could be okay with that.
Okay, any other question for him?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I need a motion in a second.
I move that we approve ordinance 22-32.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, Lux, and then the second is Don. So I will turn it over to city recorder, Nicole Kamat. For roll
Councilman
call,
Fitzie-
please.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Resolution 22-127, I'll turn over to city manager.
Thank you, sir. So in the past few months, we've been negotiating with the Utah Committee for the Games, meaning the Olympic Games. And as we probably are all aware, and here they are exploring the option and the possibility of securing a bid to bring the Winter Olympics back to Salt Lake and the Valley here in 2030 or 2034. And in preparation for that, they are going around to the various venues and negotiating use agreements for the purposes of that. Now, though they're negotiating those use agreements with us now, and we're adopting a concrete or a set version of this, as time goes along, obviously it's a long time between now and 2030 and 2034. We'll have further discussions, further iterations that will modify those agreements as well. And then once and if a bid is secured, that will even be further tightened down with more detail in terms of things like how will we use other facilities, what are the rules, usages allowed. I'm kind of getting a little further into that than is pertinent to the specific agreement before you, but that's background for what are some of the things that we negotiate in this agreement now. And some of those things are exclusive use by the committee for the hockey venue, meaning the Maverick Center as we have it now, in the same way that it was back in 2002, meaning they would have the gold medal rounds for the men's and women's hockey, the Paralympics hockey, as well as preliminary rounds as well. They will pay us a use fee of $4 million, which could be inflation adjusted if the games do get secured and are moved to 2034. We will also have access to the suite that the city has right now. And although we would be responsible before buying tickets, that sort of thing. And then the state has also committed $10 million to use in funds for improvements and renovations of the Maverick Center, which will also happen during that time frame. And you would see further fleshing of that as we go along. So I took a lot longer time than I normally use to introduce an item, just sort of to emphasize that this is a big deal. And there's a lot that's going into this and has been over the last few months during this year and will further in the years as they're coming up. So we're excited to bring that to you and recommend it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Pyle. Appreciate that. I will turn over to the council for the discussion, the motion.
Move for approval of resolution 22-127.
Second.
Get motion from Jake and a second from Will, and I turn over to our city recorder, Nicole Kamat, for a roll call, please.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes, thank
Motion
you.
passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item B right here is a 22-128. Turn over to city manager.
Thank you, sir. So this item would authorize purchase and installation of a new HVAC unit over at the Utah Cultural Celebration Center in the amount of $652,000. It would replace.
Are you skipping letter?
Oh, did
B.
I miss?
B,
Sorry.
B, yeah,
Which one am I?
The RDA.
Oh, the
yeah.
RDA loan. Yes, sorry about that. So on this item, we are authorizing or proposing to authorize $1 million revolving line of credit from the West Valley City RDA to the city for use to promote shows at the Maverick Center. And the idea and the concept behind this is in today's entertainment economy and concert environment, that it's necessary at times to pre-promote or commit to these acts that come along, and that will facilitate us being able to do things like getting series of concerts and also other economic development type promotions with ancillary uses and other entities. So this money would come from the RDA. It's not like a loan that would go out all at once in a lump sum. It's really just a line of credit, so to speak, meaning that as various concerts come along, that part of that money could be used. It's also expected that that money would be returned as each event rolls over. So it wouldn't be held for a long period of time. It would just come back into that revolving fund. Oh, I also ought to mention that this item is on the city side, but you'll also see another corresponding item to that in the RDA meeting later on.
Thank you. The last time, I believe we had this in our study meeting, and we asked Monroe West Valley City Redevelopment Agency, the department sent us a projection, and I believe council, did you receive those? I mean, that email?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you okay with that, right? Any question for him before we vote up or down? If not, we'll turn over to the council with the motion, or we're looking for the motion in a second.
Motion to approve resolution 22-128.
Second.
Okay, we have motion as Scott, and the second is Lodge. And we'll turn over to our city recorder, Nico Kamat, for roll call, please.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone.
No.
Councilman Harmon.
Yes.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes, the reason I just want to have a comment for this one, the reason I vote yes for this one is because we have a low audience, some events such as hockey games and other things. And I hope this one gonna help for the Mavic Center to bring more people to that place, and hopefully, and also inside our projection, as from Mark knows, he mentioned about the projection 1 year, that the return very good, and hopefully we'll go that way, and then we'll get the money back, and we'll promote our Mavic Center. Okay, the next item is C, 22-129. Turn over to city manager.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now we're on the HVAC replacement item for the cultural center. So the HVAC system over there is the original to the building. It's long exceeded its expected useful life, and it's also inadequate to the expansion of the finished space inside this center that it now serves. So we're proposing to replace that out of the capital improvement fund, be $652,000. We've had 4 bids. That's the lowest responsible bid. American Chiller Mechanical Service is the firm that we would award it to.
Thank you. Any question? Or turn over to the city council for a motion or discussion.
A motion to approve resolution 22-129.
Second.
We have a motion as well, and then second is Don, and I will turn over to the city recorder, Nico Kamat, for a roll call, please.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Harmon.
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone.
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Next one is a 22-130 is the D, item D. Turn over to city manager.
Thank you, sir. This would provide for the execution of an interlocal agreement between our West Valley City and Salt Lake County for the purpose of installation of traffic signals in the amount of $172,350 from our transportation sales tax fund, and would be used for 2 traffic signal installations. One is at 4100 South Acord Way, which would be a replacement, and one at 4100 South Montea Drive, which would be a new one. This pedestrian hybrid beacon, or PHB as it is called, is a successor to the older Hawk system, of which we've got a few around the city, and one of them is this one that would be replaced on Acord Way.
Okay, thank you. Turn over to City Council.
I move for approval of resolution 22-130.
Second.
We have a motion, Lux, and a second is Scott Turner. So we turn it over to City Recorder, Nicole Kamat, please.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes, thank you. Item E 22-131, please, City Manager.
Thank you, sir. This would be for the purchase of a new street sweeper, Timco 600 regenerative air sweeper, if you're familiar with the model name. $238,385 from the stormwater utility. We have 4 of these in our fleet, and currently we're replacing them around every 2 years.
Thank you. Turn over to the City Council for motion or discussion.
Move to approve resolution 22-131.
A motion, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, take on this time. Okay, motion for this resolution is Jake, and second is Don. Turn over to the City Recorder, Nicole Kamat, for roll call, please.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
No.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes by majority.
thank you. Item F 22-132. Turn over to us, City Manager.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this resolution would authorize the purchase of 5 new vehicles for the fleet. These would be 5 Toyota Camry hybrids for purposes or for use within the Detectives Division at $148,610.
Thank you. Turn over to City Council for discussion and motion.
I move for approval of resolution 22-132.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, a motion from Lux and second from Will. Turn over to our City Recorder, Nicole Kamat, and for roll call, please.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
No.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes by majority.
thank you. Item G is a 22-133. Turn over to our City Manager.
Thank you, sir. This would be for the purchase of 19 new Ford vehicles for the city's fleet. That would include 13 Ford Interceptor SUVs to be used by the police department, 1 Ford Lightning F-150 EV for testing throughout city departments, but would mainly be used in public works and parks and those sorts of more pickup type applications. And 4 Ford F-150s for use in the police department, and 1 Ford Transit van to be used in the Family Fitness Center. And this would be at the price of $1,104,707.
Thank you. We'll turn over to City Council for discussion and motion.
Move to approve resolution 22-133.
We have a motion. We need a second.
Second.
Don, have a second. Thank you. We'll turn over to our City Recorder, Nicole Kamat, for roll call, please.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
No.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes by majority.
thank you. 22-134. Turn over to our City Manager.
Thank you, sir. This would be for the purchase of a Ford F-550 crew cab for the fire department to be used as a replacement for a grass truck. Price would be $135,880.
Thank you.
By the way, Mayor, or sir, I should probably mention that $135,000 is the total cost. The vehicle purchase is $70,880, and the rest of it's for upfitting it with tanks and water tanks and pumps and off-road wheels and tires set up, all that sort of thing.
Thank you for explaining. Appreciate that. Okay. Turn over to our city council for discussion, a motion for this item. We need a motion and we need a second.
I move for approval of resolution 22-134.
A motion, we need a second.
Second.
So a motion, Locke, second as well, and I turn over to our city recorder, Nico Kamat for roll call, please.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
No.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Go to item 9 right here, city manager. We have 3 items, A, B, C. Look like they very much the same idea here. Is that right? Normal stuff?
Yes, sir. All of them in the way of purchase agreements, warranty deeds, right-of-way, construction easements, that sort of thing. One of them is for the 3100 South Overlay project, and the other 2 are for the traffic signal replacements over there on 4100.
Okay, so we can do this one at a group, that'd be okay, right? Okay.
Sure.
We'll turn over to the city council for discussion and motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, Don, motion and Lux second. Turn over to our city recorder, Nico Kamat for roll call, please.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Harmon,
Yes.
Councilman Whitstone,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Hune.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. We about to have one more motion, and at the end for our regular meeting. But we're gonna have another meeting, is redevelopment agency, and just let you know beforehand. Now we need the last motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. So all those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we adjourn. We'll turn over to Scott Harmon.
Here to call to order the redevelopment agency meeting, special meeting on August 23rd, and it's 7:20. We're in the council chambers. We've already held our opening ceremony. For our roll call, we have all council members in attendance and excuse Mayor Lang. We have the minutes on the agenda. Any discussion or motion on those minutes?
So move.
What so moved?
Approval of minutes, June 28, 2022.
All right,
Second.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item A, resolution 22-50. Wayne?
Thank you, sir. So this is the corresponding item to the line of credit item we talked about in the city council meeting. So this would authorize the RDA to extend that loan of that $1 million revolving line to the city.
So one question I had came to my brain after we went through it on the first round. What department's going to manage that for the city?
So this would be obviously ultimately under my direction, but it would be specifically run under the RDA division with the, as we call them now, the extension or the enhancement. Sorry. Optimization department, who works very closely and specifically assigned to with entities like the Maverick Center, the Cultural Center, the theater, USANA, all of those.
Any other discussion or motions for item A?
I'll just mention a little bit on my vote. I recognize the benefits that this potentially could be. There is a risk that the benefits won't pan out, but I'm a proponent of using RDA funds for pure community development, and just, conceptually, we're using RDA funds to pay millionaires. And so I just was hesitant to give
That's the only reason.
Any other discussion or motions?
I just want to say I respect that. I definitely empathize with that. And I think the podium presentation and further discussions are what made me lean towards it rather than away from it initially, because the issue paper was very specific to the Maverick Center and to the concert series, whereas with the additional benefits being in benefit of the other businesses, including local businesses and other venues adjacent to the Maverick Center, as well as potentially, right? We don't know for sure, but improving perceptions of the city, bringing folks in and letting them see and experience West Valley rather than relying on their own perceptions is why I'm voting in favor.
Do we have a motion?
I move for approval of resolution 22-05.
Second.
Ms. Kamic?
Mr. Fitzsimonu,
Aye.
Mr. Whetstone,
No.
Mr. Hune,
Yes.
Mr. Nordfelt,
Yes.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
and Chairman Harmon.
Yes.
Motion passes by majority.
Okay, resolution 22-06. Wayne?
Thank you, sir. So this resolution would authorize the redevelopment agency to renew or continue an agreement, an agreement with the University of Utah, partnering with the Opportunity Scholars Program that we have participated in now for a number of years. And this will subsidize the housing expenses of these students that are enrolled in this program, where they are actually attending the University of Utah towards completion of degrees, with the idea and promotion of these are groups of students that have been raised in West Valley City, will contribute to the future of West Valley City and intend to continue on in their relationship in West Valley. We've had great success with this in the past. There are 55 students in the program this year.
Okay. Fiscal impact is 180,000. Where does that, is that taxes, tax revenue? Where?
It comes from the RDA funds and specifically from that 20% Olene Walker Housing Fund portion that's required to be used in housing applications.
Any other questions, discussions, or motions?
City manager, maybe you have a second, can explain it to the audience about how all for this project, how much, how long we involved in this project with the.
Did you say how long, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been at least 4 or 5 years now. And I guess I would add, in addition to that, from a tenure standpoint, it's been received with really open arms from the University of Utah itself, which has led to a greater relationship with them in other areas as well, and commitment from the U of U to help in other educational endeavors in trying to raise the benchmark we kind of had started out using from there is what percentage of our population actually have a college degree, and the ones that do get them, how do we keep them here? And so that was our ultimate goal and objective, and it has been very successful, as you mentioned, sir, and we've been doing it now for a number of years. I would like to continue.
Thank you. Motion to approve resolution 22-06.
Yeah, with the motion that I will make, I just wanted to call out and appraise this particular component of this. We talk a lot about scholarships and about paying for tuition and those type of things. Being an instructor up at the U and knowing a lot of these folks who are benefiting not only themselves, but future trajectory of their entire families. This housing model is pretty unique and it's pretty cool because it allows folks from the hood, from West Valley, to be in West Valley and still be out of their homes and be able to interact with other students and be able to be students, but also be not having to babysit little kids and not having to do all this other stuff. And so they're still getting a full college experience, but still being adjacent and close to our community. And I think that's one component that's making this really successful. So with that, I would move to approve resolution 22-06.
As approved, we're gonna go with second. Because I already made the approve for resolution 22-06 already.
Okay, Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one more question on the contribution agreement. It says it's for 90,000. Is that, do we renew this for 2 years or?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll refer that one to Ms. Cottle.
It's 2.1 of the contribution agreement.
Sorry, I think, okay, you can hear me back here?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the way that works out is we do have that, it's not for multiple years. We bring this back to you each year, but the funds are distributed between the housing that we use here and then the funds that they use to secure the housing for other of our students that are in various locations throughout. So the fund split that you see goes up to the university partially as well, if that makes sense.
To the university housing, like on
Yep,
campus?
they use it for housing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so half of it goes to them for housing and then we.
Of our West Valley students, yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. Anything else?
Actually, I will add a comment to that, which maybe this is what you were going to mention. Originally, when we started this program, at least in my memory, the housing was exclusively here in the city and over at Fairborn Station as it was first starting up. But as we've gone along and had other property discussions, we'll remember this, pricing and costs have gone up. So in some cases, it's proved more cost effective to do it there than on-campus housing or other places like that. So you may see a higher percentage of that in the future if that trend continues on, or we may not if we have other local housing places that we would put the students as well.
Okay, Ms. Kamick.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
Mr. Nordfelt,
Yes.
Mr. Hune,
Yes.
Mr. Whetstone,
Yes.
Mr. Fitzmanu,
Aye.
and Chairman Harmon.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, we have resolution 22-07.
Thank you, sir. So this resolution would authorize an agreement to purchase 2 duplexes at 3064 and 3066 West and 3043 West Lehman Avenue in the amount of $1.242 million for the extension of the Fairborn Station project.
Any discussion or motions?
Since our mayor isn't here, and I know this is something that she would really like to participate in, I move that we continue this item until our next meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
August 6th?
Yeah,
September?
September 6th.
yeah, I agree with the law. So we're gonna move to September 6th. I will go second for that.
We need to have a roll call vote. Okay, Ms. Kamick.
Mr. Fitzmanu.
Aye.
Mr. Whetstone,
Yes.
Mr. Hune,
Yes.
Mr. Nordfelt,
Yes.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes.
and Chairman Harmon.
Yes.
Motion for continuance passes unanimously.
Thank you. We have one last motion.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're adjourned.